last night of my 40s, I came here. The bar I'd been coming to for the decade. I ordered the same thing I'd ordered throughout, and sat with a particular kind of trade that a decade asks for at its ending. The drink at the end of the decade was the most particular kind of tending to the years just past. The drink at the end of the decade is the most worth the sitting with. The drink at the end of the decade is the most particular kind of myth, being made real at the particular hour. The drink at the end of the decade is the decade in a glass. The drink at the end of the decade has the decade's particular class of the things that happened in it, of the things that made it what it was. The drink at the end of the decade is the decade's honest applause for the surviving, for the living of the 10 years. The drink at the end of the decade is the most particular kind of cheers to the self that did the decade. The decade of the 40s had its particular character, the particular things it asked and gave. The drink at the end of the decade was the accounting and the brave. Acknowledgement that the 10 years had been lived. The drink at the end of the decade is the most particular kind of sieved reckoning of what the decade was. The drink at the end of the decade is the most worth the raising. The drink at the end of the decade is the most particular kind of praising of the survived. The drink at the end of the decade is the decade in a glass. The drink at the end of the decade has the decade's particular class. I sat with the drink until the bar closed and let the 40s have their last particular hour. The drink at the end of the decade was the decade's final flower in the glass. Before the 50, before the new decade, the drink at the end of the decade was the most worth the decade it took to make. The drink at the end of the decade, setting it down. The 40s done, the 50s beginning tomorrow, tonight. The drink at the end of the decade was exactly right. Most people tell you what you wanna hear. He tells me what I need to. We've been friends long enough for him to know the difference between the two, and choose the second consistently. The friend who tells me the truth is the most particular kind of free. Gift that the years have given me. The friend who tells me the truth has earned the right to tell it. The friend who tells me the truth has been around long enough to spell it out clearly, without the softening that makes the truth less true. The friend who tells me the truth is the most valuable friend I have. The friend who tells me the truth is the most particular kind of math of the friendship, the long kind that survives the telling. The friend who tells me the truth is the most particular kind of dwelling. In the actual relationship, not the performed one, the friend who tells me the truth has done the most for the life I'm living than the ones who told me what I wanted. He told me at 43 that the job was wrong for me. He told me when I was making a particular mistake. He told me about the relationship before it became the particular cost of the particular stake. In the wrong ground, the friend who tells me the truth has saved me more than the friend who told me what I wanted across the years. The friend who tells me the truth is the hardest kind of friend to keep. The friend who tells me the truth requires the particular kind of deep trust to hear the truth from. The friend who tells me the truth is the most valuable friend I have. The friend who tells me the truth is the most particular kind of math. I try to be the same for him when his turn comes to hear the truth. The friend who tells me the truth is the proof that the long friendship earns the most particular privileges. The friend who tells me the truth has the most particular edges of the real, not the polished. The friend who tells me the truth is the most cherished of the particular friendships I've been given. The friend who tells me the truth. Thursday at this bar, still telling me, still hearing it, still the most valuable person at this table.
They call it the one who got away, like there's only one, and like the getting away was accidental. In my case, the getting away was entirely on purpose, even if the purpose wasn't sentimental. I loved her in the way of 29, deeply in with everything I had. But I was 29 and everything I had wasn't enough for what she needed. And the sad part is I knew it, I knew at 29. The one who got away didn't get away. I opened the door and watched her leave in the particular and deliberate way of someone who knows what they believe. The one who got away, I let them go. The one who got away, because I know what I was at 29 and what she needed at 29. The one who got away was the most honest thing I did with mine. Own limitations, the most honest gift I gave. The one who got away was the bravest thing I have ever done, letting the right person go, because the right person for her wasn't me at that particular low point in my readiness. She found someone 2 years after I let her go. I know because we stayed in the careful kind of touch, the careful kind that respects the between you without asking for too much. He was good for her in ways I couldn't be then, and watching that from the careful distance, I felt something that was more like rightness than the expected kind of resistance. The one who got away into the life she needed. The one who got away into the right thing, and I let her get there by being honest about the 29. The one who got away found hers and I found mine. Eventually, the one who got away, I let them go. The one who got away, 'cause I know what I was at 29 and what she needed at 29. The one who got away was the most honest thing I did with mine. At 50, I look back at the 29 decision and feel something like a strange respect for the younger me who knew his limitations, even in the middle of the heartbreaks wreck. Though two people who handled the ending right. The one who got away is the thing I got right. The one who got away, I let her at 29. I knew enough to open the door and mean it. Someone said to me that grief is the price of admission to having loved someone enough to miss. That the missing is the proof of what it meant, and the proof is worth the price of this. I've thought about that in the harder evenings, when the missing was the whole of what I had. The price of admission to the having loved is sometimes very large and sometimes sad. The price of admission is what the missing costs. The price of admission is the proof of what was lost, and worth the losing because the having was the thing. Worth every night of the difficult returning. The price of admission is the cost of the earning of the right to have loved someone that much, of the right to have been that involved. The price of admission is the thing I've solved. Nothing about but learn to carry with me into the years beyond the immediate of it. The price of admission, I've paid it and I'm in it. The people who've paid the price of admission recognize each other without saying. There's something in the eyes of the ones who've loved, and the missing and the staying. With the missing through the ordinary hours, the ones who've been in love and lost the having. They carry something that you recognize, a weight that's also lifting and also saving. The price of admission is what the missing cost. The price of admission is the proof of what was lost, and worth the losing because the having was the thing. Worth every night of the difficult returning. The price of admission is the cost of the earning. I would pay it again every time, every and every night of the hard return, I would love and lose and miss again, because the price is worth it for what you learn about yourself and what you have inside you, for love and for the missing and the cost. The price of admission is cheaper than the never having loved or lost or missed or paid. The price of admission I would pay again. The price of admission is what we spend on the particular richness of the having loved, on the particular depth of the particular then. The price of admission is worth it in the end. The price of admission is love, is all of it, is the cost and the worth together.
Closing time at the bar feels different now than it did when I was 29 and fighting it. Now closing time arrives and I'm already thinking about the walk home and the putting down of it. Coat goes on more easily than it used to. The goodbye to the bartender is genuine. I leave without the looking back for something that I thought I might have left inside the den. At 29, the closing time was a kind of failure. The night not quite delivering the thing. At 50-something, closing time is the conclusion of an evening worth the having and the sting of the cold outside the bar at closing time. When you're older, is a different kind of last call than before. The bar at closing time, when you're older, is a satisfaction, not a closing door. On the possible, the night has been what it needed to be. The bar at closing time, when you're older, is when you can finally see the value of the ending, the dignity you've done. The bar at closing time, when you're older, is the well-earned run into the cold outside, into the walk home. I I watched a young man at the bar last Friday, trying to extend the night past its intention. He was arguing with the closing time the way that I once argued with that same convention. I didn't say anything, I just put my coat on and nodded at him in the way of the who knows. He looked at me like I was missing something, which I was, which I'm glad I've let go. The young man at the bar at closing time is fighting for a possibility that isn't there. The older man at closing time accepts that the night was the night, and that's fair. The bar at closing time, when you're older, is a different kind of last call than before. The bar at closing time, when you're older, is a satisfaction, not a closing door. There's a grace in the acceptance of the closing, that fight in the closing never has. The bar gives what it gives, and then it closes, and the walking home is part of the jazz of the evening. The conclusion is the point. The bar at closing time, when you're older, is the whole and not the joint. Beginning of something, it is itself. The bar at closing time, when you're older, is the song and the whole shelf. The bar at closing time, coat on. Thank you. Good night, walk home. This was enough. This was exactly enough.
The quiet used to frighten me in my early years. I filled it constantly with noise and movement. At 20, the quiet felt like the absence of the living. At 50, the quiet is its own particular improvement. On the noise, the quiet is the thing I seek now. The quiet is what the Thursday is for. The particular quiet of the bar before the crowds is what I drive across the city for. Getting comfortable with the quiet took the entire first half of my life. Getting comfortable with the quiet was harder than the noise and the strife of the doing, of the constant filling of it. Getting comfortable with the quiet is the thing the years have given me. Getting comfortable with the quiet is the specific kind of free that the younger me couldn't have imagined, couldn't have wanted even. Getting comfortable with the quiet is the particular even of the life at 50, after the decades of the learning. Getting comfortable with the quiet is worth every year of the earning. I sit at this bar sometimes in the quiet hour, before the crowd arrives on Friday evening, and feel the particular quality of the bar before it fills, the particular kind of breathing that the bar does before the Friday crowd. The bar breathing in the quiet. Getting comfortable with the quiet is knowing the bar without the riot of the crowd, knowing the actual bar, the bar in its own particular quiet, before the Friday hour. Getting comfortable with the quiet showed me what was underneath the noise. Getting comfortable with the quiet showed me the most particular joys are quiet ones, are the bar before the crowd ones. Getting comfortable with the quiet is the thing the years have given me. Getting comfortable with the quiet is the specific kind of free. I've been thinking about the years of the filling, the constant filling of the quiet with the noise. Getting comfortable with the quiet is the particular poise that comes when you've run out of the things to fill it with. Getting comfortable with the quiet is the most particular gift of the later years, of the particular later years. Getting comfortable with the quiet is the least expensive of the years. In terms of what I needed to be comfortable, just the quiet, which was always there. Getting comfortable with the quiet was learning to be there, in it, with it. Still getting there, still the bar before the Friday, still the best hour, still the quiet, still mine. I've left places And I've stayed in places, and I know more about the staying now. The staying requires a particular kind of courage that the leaving doesn't ask and doesn't plow into the ground of the decision. The staying is the harder choice sometimes. Everything I know about staying is the most particular kind of rhymes between the could have left and the chose to remain. Everything I know about staying is that the staying makes the place. Everything I know about staying is that the staying makes the face of the home in the particular city. Everything I know about staying is that it requires the most particular work. Everything I know about staying is that it doesn't let you shirk the difficult of the place, the difficult of the years in the same spot. Everything I know about staying is that the staying is the most particular lot cast in the life. Everything I know about staying is the most worth the strife of the commitment. I stayed in this city at 34 when the offer came from somewhere better paying. I stayed because the bar was on this corner and the people I'd made were worth the staying, worth more than the better paying. Everything I know about staying is that the thing you stay for is the most particular kind of weighing of what matters against what pays. Everything I know about staying is the 20 years of the particular city. Everything I know about staying is the most particular kind of pretty of the accumulated. Everything I know about staying is that it requires the most particular work. Everything I know about staying is that it doesn't let you shirk. The leaving has its own particular freedom and its own particular instruction. Everything I know about staying is that the staying has a different kind of construction of the self in the particular place. Everything I know about staying is that the staying builds the face of the actual home that the leaving never builds. Everything I know about staying is the most particular guilt of the regular. Everything I know about staying is that I'm glad I stayed at this particular bar in this particular city with these particular people still here. 23 years, still the right decision.
nights when the bar feels like the last outpost, when the week has been the kind of week that tests the particular resilience of the person who lives it, when the bar is the particular nest of the evening after the week. The bar at the end of the world is the bar I always seek. On the Thursdays after the particular weeks that make the Thursday the most necessary. The bar at the end of the world is not a metaphor exactly. The bar at the end of the world is what the bar is factly. At the end of the particular hard week, the bar at the end of the world is where I come when the world gets heavy. The bar at the end of the world is always ready for the particular person with the particular weight of the particular week arriving. The bar at the end of the world is the most particular kind of thriving. In the particular last resort of the Thursday evening, the bar at the end of the world is worth the believing in. I've come here after the various ends, the personal ones and the wider ones. The bar was here after the year that broke everything. The bar was here after all the various suns going down on the particular difficult. The bar was here. The bar at the end of the world has been the particular frontier between the weak and the particular okay. The bar at the end of the world is the most consistent thing I've found. The bar at the end of the world is the most particular ground to stand on when the standing is what's needed. The bar at the end of the world is where I come when the world gets heavy. The bar at the end of the world is always ready. The bartender doesn't ask what's happened, he just sets it down. The glass is the only question he asks in this town, and I answer it, and the bar holds the answer. The bar at the end of the world is the most particular dancer. With the difficult, with the weak that needed the bar. The bar at the end of the world is the most particular star. I navigate by on the worst Thursdays. The bar at the end of the world is here, is open, is the glass, is set down, is enough, is the most particular kind of still standing. still standing. My daughter took a photograph of me last Sunday without asking. The natural kind of photograph, the kind that doesn't have the pose, the kind that shows the actual person in the actual moment, without the preparation of the face. I saw it later on her phone. She'd sent it to someone. I looked at it for longer than was casual, and saw what she had shown the world as her father. The photograph that shows the years, the one taken without the warning. The photograph that shows the years is the particular kind of mourning face that the camera catches honestly. The photograph that shows the years is the truest kind of record. The photograph that shows the years has the particular kind of scored lines, and the particular kind of gray, and the particular kind of ease. The photograph that shows the years has the particular disease of being honest about the particular time. The photograph that shows the years is the most particular kind of rhyme. Between the person I imagine and the person she photographed. I asked her later if she liked the photograph.
She said it was her favorite one of me.
I asked her why.
She said, because you look like you.
In it,
not the camera version,
more the kitchen
Sunday morning version.
The photograph that shows the years
is the particular immersion
in the actual that my daughter caught.
The photograph that shows the years
is what my daughter sees.
The photograph that shows the years
is what the particular freeze of the candid moment
delivers. The photograph that shows the years
is the truest kind of record.
The photograph that shows the years
has the particular kind of score.
I've been thinking about her favorite photograph,
about what she saw
in the particular kitchen Sunday
that she thought was worth the keeping.
The particular kind of run day
of the years in the face.
The particular father.
The photograph that shows the years
is the most particular gather
of who I am for her, which turns out to be the most important kind of photograph.
The photograph that shows the years
is on her phone.
The favorite of her
of me.
the actual,
The kitchen Sunday, the years
entirely worth it.
We used to close the bar on Friday evenings. 6 of us who'd been that way for years. Now there are 3 of us who still do Fridays, and the 3 of us don't mention what appears to be the gradual thinning of the table. The 2 who moved away, the 1 who changed. We toast the night without narrating what's happened, and leave the empty chairs unrearranged. The Friday table used to feel like permanent, like the 6 of us would always be the 6. Now the 3 of us hold up